French President Emmanuel Macron has won 5 more years in office, vowing he would be a president for all. Macron defeated his rival Marine Le Pen 58.6% to 41.4%. His victory speech acknowledging the need to bridge the deep divide with those who voted against him in favour of the far right. Let's cross now to our chief international correspondent, Ben Lewis, who is in Paris. Ben, it's been a country divided, so what's been the reaction to the verdict in France?
Well, Ricardo, good evening. The result was really not much of a surprise here in France. Even Marine Le Pen's most ardent supporters thought an upset win was really quite unlikely, but they will be happy with the fact that 4 out of 10 French voters backed the far-right candidate. It sets them up well for future elections. But for now, the centre has held. Emmanuel Macron becomes the first French president to be re-elected in 2 decades. He did better than the polls had predicted. In the end, it was a comfortable win for Emmanuel Macron. His supporters ecstatic and more than a little relieved. For weeks, the president had been accused of arrogance and elitism by his opponent, labels he rejected. But his slow march to the stage at his re-election celebration, with Beethoven's Ode to Joy, the European anthem, playing in the background, was classic Macron. A polarising figure for much of his first term, the president indicated he's open to a new style of governing.
Cette ère nouvelle ne sera pas la continuité du quinquennat qui s'achève, mais l'invention collective d'une méthode refondée pour 5 années de mieux, au service de notre pays, de notre jeunesse.
He thanked the voters who only backed him to stop Marine Le Pen, but he also had a message for those who supported the far-right candidate in record numbers.
Et je sais que pour nombre de nos compatriotes qui ont choisi aujourd'hui l'extrême droite, la colère et les désaccords qui les ont conduits à voter pour ce projet doivent aussi trouver une réponse. Ce sera ma responsabilité et celle de ceux qui m'entourent.
His second term will be more difficult than the first, as he tries to bring together an increasingly divided country. Emmanuel Macron has run for office just twice in his life, both times for the presidency and both times he has won. During a period when populism has been on the rise in many parts of the world, he has kept the far right out of the Elysée.
Oui, je crois que l'enjeu était très important parce que c'était vraiment 2 choix de société qu'on avait à faire ici en France, entre un pouvoir plutôt nationaliste et puis un pouvoir, celui d'Emmanuel Macron, qui est plus quand même pro-européen.
But some are already worrying about what will happen in 2027 because Macron cannot run again.
I'm not sure there's such a strong person that can replace him to fight the far right.
For Marine Le Pen, it was 3rd time unlucky. Her efforts to soften her image from far-right anti-immigration extremist to the cost of living candidate increased support for the National Rally leader, but she still fell short.
Mesdames et messieurs, un grand vent de liberté aurait pu se lever sur le pays. Le sort des urnes que je respecte en a voulu autrement.
Many of her supporters had thought an upset win was possible.
Non, là j'étais déçue. Ah ouais, là c'est là. Franchement, je réalise même pas encore. Demain je vais dire, mais il est encore là pendant 5 ans. Je sais pas, je suis en train de vivre un cauchemar là. C'est un mauvais rêve.
Le Pen says she'll remain in politics.
Pour éviter cet accaparement des pouvoirs par quelques-uns, plus que jamais, je poursuivrai mon engagement pour la France et les Français avec l'énergie, la persévérance et l'affection que vous me connaissez.
The extreme right has been defeated in France once again, but it has more support than ever. Has become somewhat of an election night tradition here in France. There were some small-scale riots in several cities. Police had to use tear gas at some of them. They were largely organised by student and far-left groups who were disappointed about the choices available to them in the runoff contest. Emmanuel Macron faces another electoral challenge in just a few weeks. There are parliamentary elections and his party en marche faces a real test trying to hold its majority in Parliament against the far left and the far right.
And Ben, what does Emmanuel Macron's re-election likely mean for the relationship between France and Australia, given the recent troubles between leaders?
Well, it depends largely on who wins the upcoming federal election. Of course, Emmanuel Macron famously said that Scott Morrison was a liar over the cancellation of the submarine contract and the announcement of the AUKUS Pact. Mr Morrison, though, did tweet his congratulations to President Macron today. He said, "Another great expression of liberal democracy in action in uncertain times. We wish you and France every success, in particular your leadership in Europe and as an important partner to Australia in the Indo-Pacific." We understand that even if Anthony Albanese becomes Prime Minister in a few weeks' time, there is unlikely to be an immediate reset in the relationship. Ricardo, anger in the Elysee about Australia's actions has not abated.
Okay, Ben Lewis there in Paris. Thank you.